When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in a world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. And though the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine on till tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Thank you, Millie. Thank you, Robert. Welcome to Unity Temple on the Plaza, where diversity is praised and peace and harmony are the rewards. I'm Reverend Sandra Campbell, and it's an honor to see all of you here today and our wonderful choir. I just have a few brief announcements. Inside your bulletin, you'll find a list of things that are happening here at Unity Temple. There's always something happening at Unity Temple. And one of the things that I want to call your attention to is this afternoon at noon, we'll be continuing our 12 Powers in You class. And if you want to know more about the 12 Powers that Unity teaches, we're in classroom right around the corner here, and classroom D from 12 to 1:30. You're welcome to join us. Reverend, she should be Reverend, but Aaron Keller has a special, Reverend Aaron Keller, I'm giving her a new title, has a special announcement.
Good morning. I want to take this opportunity to tell you about my new nonprofit organization called Golden Spirit Children's Choirs. Golden Spirit Children's Choirs is an after-school children's choir program that I'm developing and hopefully piloting in the fall in either a KCMO or KCK public school. And between now and then, I have a lot of fundraising to do. But I wanted to tell you about what the program is. It's not only includes music learning objectives, but also social emotional learning objectives, poetry writing and reading, improvisation, and composition. Students will be engaged in breathing exercises, journal writing, small group sharing, learning songs from all over the world, rhythm reading, sight reading, doing poetry writing, poetry studying, and also engaging in composition as groups and as individuals, and also improvisational activities that will create camaraderie and bonding within the group. I'm very passionate about this project. I've been working on it for a few years, and now it's finally kind of gotten to the point where it is about to take off and hopefully be in a school this fall. So in order to raise money for Golden Spirit Children's Choirs and also Unity Temple on the Plaza, we're having a gospel concert on February 25th at 2 o'clock, which is a Sunday afternoon, and it features Millie Edwards, Lori Tucker, and Jerome Johnson as soloists, as well as myself, Raisa Johnson, and Hayden Smith from the choir. And we'll be doing gospel numbers and also spirituals, and Sandra Campbell will be emceeing and giving historical background to each piece. And we are honoring, obviously, Black History Month and Black excellence, and also, as I said before, using the proceeds towards Unity Temple on the Plaza, which is infinitely loving and supportive of our community in Kansas City at large, and also Golden Spirit Children's Choirs, which has the potential to benefit in the future every child in Kansas City who deserves the chance to sing and be heard. So please come on February 25th. You'll see information about it inside your bulletin. It says Annual Unity Gospel Concert. You can buy tickets by scanning the QR code, and we're also going to be helping people buy tickets after the service in the lobby area. We'll have a table. The tickets are on Eventbrite, and right now they're $10, and as we get closer to the event, they'll be $15. So please come support Golden Spirit Children's Choirs and Unity Temple on the Plaza and Black History Month, and come to the gospel concert on February 25th at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Rev. I remember when you started that dream about the children's choirs, and I'm so glad to see it's coming to fruition. Yes. We served the Ronald McDonald House, and we raised quite a bit of money last year for that, thanks to all of you and all of you who are online. We are doing it again. And Beverly Crone is right here, is our leader. Several of us showed up, and we prepared the food, and we had about maybe 50 families who came through, and they didn't have to worry about what they were going to eat, where their children are being cared for at Children's Mercy Hospital. We're doing it again, and you'll hear more about this in the future. It'll be in March, and we will be getting the date in the bulletin and on the e-news soon, so please join us. And guess what? We had enough money left over to take care of this one, so we just need volunteers. So thank you. So we'll now begin our service with the temple chimes, the opening prayer, and the call to inspiration. You'll see the opening prayer on the screen. Let's join together. On this day, we dedicate ourselves to peace on earth. We accept ourselves without harsh judgment and express appreciation for our individuality. We live without fear to meet the event this day with confidence. We accept others without prejudice to experience a sense of unity with all people. We honor our earthly environment and recognize oneness with all creation. In harmony with ourselves, our lives, other people, and all of nature, we live this day with a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. Thank you, God. Amen.
The morn of truth is breaking, 10,000 notes of love from tuneful souls are waking to swell the songs above. Come raise a glorious anthem far over hill and plain, for truth in radiant splendor has come on earth to reign.
We'll now join together in singing Wonderful Words of Life, hymn number 190, and it's in your bulletin and on the screen.
Wonderful words of life.
trust and never doubt. Jesus will surely bring you out. He I know God is able to deliver in times of storm. I know that He'll keep you safe from all earthly harm. One day when my weary soul is at rest, I'm going home to be forever blessed. Jesus will surely bring you out. He will be there. I will sing of God's mercy every day, every hour. He gives me power. I will sing and give thanks to Thee for all the danger, storms, and snares. He is my God. No matter what the test, trust and never doubt. Jesus will surely bring you out. Didn't my God deliver Moses from King Pharaoh? And didn't He cool the fiery furnace for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? When I think of what my God can do, He delivered Daniel, He'll deliver you. Trust and never doubt. Jesus will surely bring you out. He never failed me yet. I will sing every day, every hour. He gives me power. I will sing and give thanks to Thee for all the dangers, toils, and snares that He has brought me out. He is my God. I will serve Him no matter what the task. Trust and never doubt. Jesus will surely bring you out. He never failed me yet. He is my God. I will serve Him. He is my God. I will serve Him. He has never failed me. He is my God. My God has never failed me. He is my God. He never failed me. Trust in God. Trust in God. He will never fail you. He trust and never doubt. He will surely bring you out. He never
Good morning, Unity Temple. That was enough. Man, if they could just keep going, I will gladly sit down. That was amazing. Thank you, choir, very, very much. So this morning, I wanted to talk to you all about release. And as I look out at each one of you, I want you to see me looking into your eyes. I want you to know how amazing you are. I don't come here to teach you anything new. I want to help remind you of how magnificent and whole you are right now. If you've been attending Unity for any period of time, you'll understand that one of the things we often emphasize is that you're already whole, that there's nothing missing. And so today, I want to talk to you about releasing some of that stuff that might be hindering your ability to see that purest reflection of yourself. There's a story about a golden Buddha in Thailand. And this golden Buddha, the temple was known as the Temple of the Golden Buddha. And they were informed that there was a neighboring country's army about to invade. And so the monks of this temple decided that they were going to hide this Buddha. And so they put layers of mud, layers of concrete on the outside of this Buddha. When the army came and passed by this monastery, they were looking for anything of value and they didn't see anything, so they passed on. Slowly, as time went on, the people of the monastery forgot that that Buddha was golden. And then, after some time, a young monk was meditating underneath this Buddha and a chunk fell off. Then he saw something shiny in there. Then he called the other monks, and they discovered that there was a golden Buddha. The metaphor of this story is that we were all born golden. We were all born completely aware of our divine nature, of this perfection that lies within us. All of the love and connection was there. But as we aged, as time went on, probably around 4, 5, 6, or 7, we somehow forgot about this golden side of ourselves. But then as life progresses, maybe it's a divorce, maybe it's a financial challenge, maybe it's a health challenge, a chunk falls off. And then in there, you see this golden part of yourself. And now this coating, this armor that you've put around yourself of mud and concrete no longer serves you because you've seen something that's in there and it begins this new search in your life. That's often what a lot of people will find whenever they're coming here to Unity, is that they've seen something hidden behind the mask of everything that everyone told you that you were, and it reminds you, this isn't who I am. And that's a beautiful place to be. So as I stand here and I look at you, I hope that you each can see that I'm not looking at anything outside of you. I'm not looking at your accomplishments. I'm not looking at the story that you tell yourself of who you are. I'm not looking at you as the relative who may tell you that you're limited or the job that doesn't fulfill you. I'm looking at that shining essence of the golden part of you that stays with you no matter where you are. And so today, as we kind of explore the conversation, that's all I hope to do is maybe break off a little bit more if there's anything keeping you from seeing that most divine part of yourself. So as we go through this remembrance process of releasing, it's always wonderful how Reverend Sandra goes through the 5 unity principles each time that she gives a talk. And so I want to do that with you as well today. I'm going to do it in a shorter order so that maybe those of you who don't have these 5 principles memorized or fully understood yet, that you can learn them. The first one is God is. Let's say that with me. God is. Number 2 is I am. I am. Number 3, I think. I think. Number 4, I pray. And number 5 is I live. Today I want to focus on number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is God is. Anytime that you leave or you try to describe that with any more words, you then become limiting God, because God is unlimited. That second principle is that you are. If anyone ever asks you the question, who are you? And as I say that to you, just think, how do you respond to that question? Who are you? Going back to number one, God is. Let's say that again. God is, and I am. So let's say those two together. God is, I am. Even whenever it comes to spiritual sense, because a lot of people's identities as they're growing up through life becomes defined by either their religious beliefs or someone else's religious beliefs. And sometimes it comes down to shedding old beliefs that no longer serve us. By a showing of hands, how many of you came from different spiritual backgrounds before unity? And continuing holding up your hands for a second, how many of you come from ones that are something in there just didn't quite fit your ever-evolving, remembering self? Okay. And that's a beautiful space to be. What an amazing space to be. And I want you guys all to know and be really aware of this as you go out there into the world of God is and I am. But as you look at everyone else, they are too. But a lot of them aren't aware that there's spaces they can go to be allowed to be themselves, to go on that exploration, to be fully accepted. So even if they're not aware that this place exists, if you're there with them, where two people are gathered in my name, there I am, understand that that's you and that's them. And your ministry or opportunity to share, if the word ministry doesn't hit you right, is in that moment. Just help them remember how perfect they are. I know growing up in my life, in so many different religious beliefs, the question has been posed to me of, so what religion are you? Are you Christian? And I always thought, well, that's such an interesting question. Like, what is that? Or how do you mean? They're like, well, have you been saved? And I'm like, man, this is just great. I love it. Look at them neutrally, because remember, everything is neutral. If you can take that, God is, I am, removing any labels from yourself, you just are. So you're in an experience then. Someone's asking you a question. Don't assume you know which direction it's going to go, because remember, they might be masked behind some layers of misunderstandings that they haven't yet quite broken through. And nothing wrong with them. It's not to say your way is right and their way is wrong. It's just two individual paths on their perfect paths. There is nothing that needs to change in the upbringing, because that was in the past. That's one of those parts of how am I perceiving the experience of the past? Am I experiencing this as being something that has saturated the perfect part of myself, or is this something that is on the outside of me? Is this part of that armor that I have donned that maybe even I have forgotten that I'm wearing? And as you look at everyone else, you see that exact same thing, but not to be judgmental, because you don't know what armies may be attacking them and what they need to wear in that moment. So as you are with them, perhaps you can be that student who's just sitting there, being the, what was the expression? Buddhist in Times Square. Inspired this morning. I heard that expression. I thought, man, that is a great expression of, in the chaos of the world, can you be the one who holds that posture of perfect peace no matter what's going on? And it's just, and I want you to fully feel that of whatever you may be going through, or whatever you can perceive going out there in the world as far as wars, chaos, challenges, financial situations people may be going through. Can you be that person or that Christ? It's not just a Buddhist. Told a Buddhist story, just made a Buddhist example. I want you guys to understand that unity is a school of Christianity. But what we teach here is more how to think. Unity was never designed to be a religion. It was just more of how to illumine your current path a little bit differently, with a lot of permission of, hey, we love you just the way you are. So as I grew up, and that question kept popping into my life of, well, what belief system are you? Growing up in rural Missouri, there wasn't a lot of variation in the different ways people think. And here I am, this little middle school student studying spirituality on an extreme level and just trying to fit I had to wear a little bit of an armor throughout my entire life because it was just, I am very confident with where I am, but if you are in that space of confidence, you have to realize that not everyone's there, and it's not to disrupt their way of thinking. What it is, you need to be always seeking, are people finding peace in what it is that they're studying? However, sometimes there's contradictions between, I'm studying this, but it's not even bringing me any joy. And then it's wonderful. It's a beautiful space if you can just give them permission to express themselves. And you practice in that moment. If you're looking for spaces in which to meditate, but paying attention, meditate while they're speaking to you. Practice being fully present just for a few moments with that individual. You may have the eagerness of like, oh, I want to tell them something new. I heard this new insight at church today. It sounded awesome. The Buddhist in Times Square. Yeah. Calm down just for a second. Just be with them. That may be all that they needed. And before you inject, say, are you open if I share something with you? And if not, and they're like, nope. Great. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful space to be. And people need that right now. And hold that for yourself. No judgment, no condemnation, but being able to look at yourself in the morning and just look for that gold in there. And I've seen this, you've seen this, where people will go look in the mirror and be like, oh, age is not looking as good on you as it is on other people. It's just you in that moment. And listen, if your spouse or someone's in that bathroom with you, you need to be looking across at them and be like, you're beautiful. Not just saying it to say it out of sincerity and out of love, because I hope that you're not limited to your eyes. How many of you are aware, well, actually, show of hands, how many of you studied some form of spirituality in a little bit? So how many of you have come to the recognition that you are more than your body? And so sometimes, have we ever experienced where we're kind of limiting ourselves based upon what our physical eyes are seeing? And maybe in that judgment of ourselves? So I want you to use, this is the challenge, because when I look out here, I see all of these inspired people who are not the average spiritual students of life or religion or anything else. I want you to use those spiritual eyes which see the perfection in everything. And even if you can just don those for a few hours or a few minutes with yourself in the restroom or in the bathroom or in this moment in the car when you've got a moment of reflection, maybe something came along and challenged you, maybe someone's yelling at you. Here's an opportunity, just for a few seconds, pull out those spiritual eyes and look at yourself and say, you're incredible. Like, I wonder how you're going to handle this situation. And just for those few moments, then you can don back on your physical eyes and be like, oh boy, I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. But that begins that muscle memory of, if I can do this for a little bit today, next time I can do it for a little bit more. Then all of a sudden you're looking out there at the world, and then you see the wars going on overseas, and you say, that is a situation, and I'm going to do my best right now to be where I'm at, fully present in this moment, and be fully conscious of the experiences people are having. And I want to become the best student and best example, so that when the energy and actions that I'm taking finally reach to where they are, it's something that will help dissolve any fear or anything that keeps those people from seeing the greatness of themselves. And it's not always going to be something outside of them needs to change. To explore that. So we go to where the wars are right now. And you just sit down individually, one-on-one with every person on both sides. And you remind them of their divine connection with everyone else and their divine connection with themselves. What would begin to happen with that war? It would begin to dissolve. Would you all agree with that? Is that easy to do? Like that? I just solved all the world's problems in about 30 seconds up here on stage. And you're like, you've got to come to Unity Temple and hear this guy speak. No, things aren't that simple. But the only thing you can manage is where are you at in this moment. And if you can become fully balanced, that's enough. That is enough. If you're watching the news and it's pulling you into an area of emotion that doesn't serve you, we have some doctors in this room, or any nurses, anyone who has some experience with health in some way, shape, or form. Okay, we got everybody. So when you have a negative emotion, and most of you aren't doctors, so that's awesome. So I can ask this question with absolute neutrality. What would we all assume happens to our bodies when we inject it with something called stress? Let's see. Raise your hands if you think something good happens when we practice stress. Okay? Now, no judgment. Close your eyes when you raise your hands on this one so you don't look around at the neighbor next to you. How many of you have practiced stress? Okay, so we might have some of this, we are both golden and we're also wearing these coats of armor because we know it doesn't serve us and yet we practice it. Now, most of you guys raised your hands, those of you who didn't take notes from those who did, that stress doesn't serve us. So now, this week, you let stress creep in there. I'm looking at you in the eye and saying, how did you do it? You told me last week stress wasn't good. Why'd you do it? It's like, vitamins. How many of you have heard that vitamins make you feel good? And consistency of taking those vitamins is great. That's called positive thinking. That positive thinking. How many of you believe that positive thinking does something amazing for your body? And then their outlook for life just suddenly changes. You go outside and you're like, it is not as nice as I thought it would be this morning. But it's still a beautiful day. Why is that? Because it's going to help me appreciate the sun again tomorrow. And it's not that you're ignoring the fact that it's cold. It's just cold. It's neutral. It's like, who are you? You just are. Going back to that second thing, who are you? You just are. Like, what religion are you? Now it's to the point of, Rory, what do you say? You say, when someone says, what religion are you? I'm like, I just am. Like, no, tell me more. I'm like, this is such a curious kind of thing because in the deepest spiritual sense, even when we look at the teachings of Jesus, it was always about returning fully to who you are, not the still small voice. Anyone ever heard of that expression in any book? Like the Bible has got it mentioned, other books haven't mentioned. But returning to the still small voice. And when someone asks you who you are, does your mind usually go back to that still small voice? Or does the noise start picking up? Then it's like, I'm a funeral director, I'm a dad, I've got kids, how many kids do you have? I'm like, well, I've got 2 biologically, I got 2 from a marriage, like it's all over the place, it's in these different spaces, then it's like, well, let me explain that because it'll be a little bit confusing whenever I say it this kind of way, and then I say, well, my oldest daughter's actually from an adoption, so technically I'm like, whoa, Rory here, I'm dad, let's just keep it simple. But it's beyond all of that, because then we sometimes forget, like, man, who am I? Like, even in conversations as we get together and we're having dinner, or maybe we're watching a sports game, then it's like the conversation, like, everybody's hurting in different ways, but everyone's also full of joy. And it's in the conversation, are we gearing it towards extracting the joy? Or are we gearing it towards extracting the stressors in someone's lives? Is it full of satisfaction? But not to ignore it, because so many people are silently suffering in life. And what do I mean by that? A lot of people are suffering silently because they don't know who to talk to, nor do they know how to talk to themselves because of all of this armor that's been put on that is keeping them from that honest conversation with themselves. Rob, let me tell you what a good husband does. A good husband does this. And it's like those are some of those layers. This is what a black person is. This is what a white person is. This is what a Christian is. This is what a Christian is not. This is what, someone from Missouri is like. This is what someone from California is like. These are all parts of those layers, and it's all about shedding all of that. I am multiracial. I'm half black, half white. I was raised in an all-white community, backwoods of Missouri, but I've had some amazing black women in my life come along and be like, boy, you need culture. I'm like, thank you. And I take it very humbly, because I'm like, my mother is white. Like, you guys, don't be judgy. And it's so awesome, guys, because you're just fully human. The expression of who you are as an individual, it's like you are perfect. There is no other way to be. You don't have to identify as anything. That's like, how do I identify? Once they finally put mixed on the box, I'm like, hey, look, there's a spot for me. I'm like, But I don't say that with too much seriousness because none of that defines me as an individual. My career sure doesn't. I'm the most optimistic funeral director you will ever meet in your life. It is ridiculous. I don't mean to be that way. I walk into houses to do a house call. I'm like, hey, good to, Rory, man. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm like, this is not fitting for me. People are like, he's all over the place. But it's out of love because I see beyond that. I'm like, man, if you only knew how amazing the legacy was. And then also when people are clinging to stories about judgments from something in the past. And man, I'm about to drop a bomb on you guys. I hope you feel this to the essence of your beingness. The past, it is nothing more than imaginary at this point in time. Okay? The stories you tell yourself about the past are 100% your responsibility. My dad was a bad dad. Hey, listen, my dad's dead. Like, I can tell any story I want to about him. I don't know his upbringing. I love my father. Why is that? Because he got me to the starting line. That's all I freaking needed. Anything else beyond that is on Rory once I became aware of that. Because sometimes people wear the responsibility hat that I am fully the result and reflection of my life up until now. But then you crack that off, and that begins the whole, let me just practice being present for a few moments out of my day. And then you're like, phew. So let's practice that just for a short second. Be fully present. It's okay, that right there, that beautiful short, that's all you guys really need to have a beautiful and fulfilling day in life, just so you know. Now I'm going to add some more words to it because people like words. I got this beautiful book. Don't worry. It's available to everyone, eBay, A-Books. It's called The Unity Treasure Chest. Unity is full of insightful, deep thinkers from every spiritual background you can possibly imagine, and they've compiled their ideas to try to help as a roadmap to yourself. It's the journey without distance, the journey back to yourself. It's going to be one of the most fulfilling journeys that you ever go on to. So Charles Fillmore, as I had it bookmarked, give me 1 second, 37. There we go. Charles Fillmore wrote something called the sevenfold affirmation. The sevenfold affirmation, I'll read it in a second. Winter affirmation is useful. It is important to have affirmations available to you, short ones, something that you believe in. Don't just, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. You can be completely miserable and affirming you're happy. Like, there's more to it than that. Does your face say, I'm happy? Oh, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy. Yes. Then it begins the shift, because if your body doesn't believe it, it doesn't matter what your mind says. You need to get your body moving and towards that happiness. But then you begin the affirmation process to help pull yourself out of certain mindsets. So maybe going back to the Buddhist, the golden Buddha example is that maybe just today you're wearing a mask that doesn't necessarily suit you. And sometimes those affirmations, whether it be you're beautiful, you're amazing, whatever it is, and maybe you don't believe it in that moment in time, that's better than processing something that makes you feel negative about yourself. So if you ever find yourself, or if you know of someone who might look into the mirror and be like, ugh, like, that doesn't serve you. It never serves you. Cancel that as quickly as possible. Even if you don't believe it, you can say, you know, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. Even though you can go through some stuff in life, but you've got to feel it. This is your journey. I'm just some random guy that you chose to have in front of you at this moment in time in your specific journey. So when I say you, I'm not saying Unity chose to have me up here. I'm saying each one of you as a co-creator decided at this random moment in time that I'm going to be standing in front of you for some specific message. And someone said this to me one time. They're like, I haven't learned anything new from Rory. And I'm like, tricky thing is that you're setting up this entire classroom for yourself So if you cannot seek out the lesson, no matter who the teacher is, that's on you, buddy. Don't know who said that, and I love you, whoever said that comment in a comment card. The sevenfold affirmation, the sevenfold affirmation goes like this. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. It is my life, my strength, my courage, my patience, my peace, my poise, my power, my wisdom, my understanding, my joy, my inspiration, and my abundant supply. Unto this great power I entrust all my problems, knowing they will be solved in love and justice. O Lord Christ, I have laid all my desires upon thine altar, and I rest in thy graciousness. Go back to those first two unity principles. God is. Let's say it again. God is. And I am. What are you? You are. And that is so perfect. I hope you feel that to the essence of your beingness today. And just spend some time with yourself in that. Like, it's the beginning of a new year. Some of you have some of the greatest school of life ever. Like some stuff I can't even begin to imagine. And you don't need to quantify the experiences you've gone through to get you here. Just know that this is the perfect journey for you to be on. And now you find these little reflections of the gold inside of you, and you just go to work on that. What do you need? Maybe it's Buddhism, maybe it's Christianity, maybe it's Islam, whatever your study is along the path. It's like that is it for you. That is great. That is beautiful, and that is ever evolving. And it never needs to be locked into any particular path because this is your story, no one else's. Sometimes you'll hear the expression that nobody is perfect. Have we all heard that at some point in time? Now understand that nobody is perfect because there is no perfect to be defined by, but in essence, you are the perfect version of yourself. And you just carry that. Dadgummit, like you look at people in the eye and just know that. You can walk around confidently. I look at each one of you as living perfection. Some of you have different bank account amounts. Some of you have different backgrounds in your upbringing. Some of you may be going through a situation where not everything's working out, but I'm looking beyond that. Even whenever it comes to age, don't hold yourself. That is not you. You're not your body. Going back to those spiritual principles, that you're not your body. You are still absolute perfection, but you're just donning an older suit right now. But then as Ram Dass says, what's dying? It's like taking off a tight shoe. Well, then you're you again. And you get to keep being you. But it's like, man, once I leave this suit, hopefully I've got that confidence to see that golden Buddha in everything, whatever comes after this. And I see that all in you. And I'm so blessed and so grateful that you allowed me this short opportunity just to be here with you and see all of these golden, perfect people in front of me today. And I love you all in such depth. And please continue to come. And please allow those spaces that other people know that you exist, but also spaces like this exist. So thank you all for this short moment with you all.
And we always pray, our thoughts
invite you now to find a comfortable position in your seats. As we begin this time, turning within to the I am. The I am that is you, the I am that is me, the I am that is with us always and in all ways. Take a deep, relaxing breath and open your mind and your heart and be receptive to this time of meditation. In the words of Charles Fillmore, I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. In this presence, I awaken to this power of love. In that love, I see myself and all beings through those eyes. I am love. I am love. As you continue to center yourself and go deeper, remind yourself of who you are at the very essence of your being. You are love. And then call to mind someone in your life whom you need to remind who they are in case they've forgotten that they are love. Even someone with whom you have a disagreement, or maybe you don't exactly like, they are love, made in the image and likeness of love. As we go deeper, we take a few moments briefly to just be silent and focus on that essence within us, love, in the silence. I invite you now to ever so gently bring yourself back to this present moment in this sanctuary and at home, wherever you are, reaffirming the truth of your being. These words as your own. I am love. I am love. And so it is. Amen. It's now time when we give of our tithes, our gifts. I invite those of you who are online you can click your donate button. And those of you who are able, you can also text Unity Temple 77977. I invite you to take this offering blessing in your heart as we affirm it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And for these gifts and the givers, we are truly grateful, and so it is. Amen. Don't forget the gospel concert. You like this, there's a whole lot more. February 25th, we're bringing in the kids. That's good news. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. On. So I'm going to go this way. Thank you for joining us today. Anybody want to share what you learned? Real loud? Anybody?